everyone! Happy New Year's, you guys! I can't believe it is already 2016. December went by so fast, I still think that it's like 2015. So today I am doing my December wrap-up with you guys, and I've gotta say, all of these books are pretty amazing. Like, most of them are on like my top books of 2015, and I'm so glad to have read them this month. So the first book I read in December is The Winter's Curse by Rutkoski. This book is so good. I give this book 4.5 out of 5 stars, and because the writing is just like A+. Like, oh my gosh, like if you guys want to read a book that is really like, oh my god, yes, this book. Okay. So if you watched my last video, then you already know what this book is about, but I'll give you guys a brief little summary of it. So it takes place kind of like in a fantasy world, and this girl who is the general's daughter, one day she goes to the market and she goes to this like slave auction, and she ends up buying the first slave there, and so she takes him home, and it's kind of like a love story, but there's like this war going on, and it's really good. Like, the plot is really amazing, and I love how it was written. And the reason why I gave it 4.5 stars and not 5 stars was because, you know, the ending. Not that it wasn't written well, but you know, I'm like a romantic. I want a happy ending, but of course, the first book, there's never really a good ending, so yeah. I'll have to read the second one to see how this plays out. And the second book I read in December is Lola and the Boy Next Door by Stephanie Perkins. So this series is like one of my all-time favorites, and a long time ago I read Anna and the French Kiss, and I was like obsessed. Like, every time I would hear like the book name or like characters from it, I'd just be like, oh, I'd get so giddy. And so for the longest time I've been trying to get this book, but unfortunately Barnes & Noble never had it when I went there, so I was like, you know, debating whether or not I should just like order online, but I decided to just like wait for Christmas, so I had to wait a long time to get this book. But I'm so happy that I finally read it. So it's about a girl named Lola who loves like costume, and she wears these fantastic outfits and wigs. And so one day, these twins who used to know her move back next door, and it kind of brings back all of these like emotions and memories that she had when she was younger. And so the girl twin, she had like a falling out with her, and she had like a huge crush on the other twin named Cricket. Love that name. And so it's also kind of a love story, mostly a love story between those two. So I give this book 4 out of 5 stars. I did like the first one better, Anna and the French Kiss, but I really like this as a close second. I wouldn't say that this is like a fast-paced book because a lot happens in it, but from like early on, the like romance between them is kind of like known, but there's like obstacles in the way, like she has a boyfriend, and just like their families. Yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites of this last year. And the next book I read is Isla and the Happily Ever After by Stephanie Perkins. So this is the third book in the Anna and the French Kiss series. I would say I like this one the least. Not to say that I didn't like it, but I just like the other two more. So the plot takes place both in kind of like New York and as well as Paris. So the main character, Isla, she was sort of in the first book as like a minor character, and so now it's like more of her story. So she is like the ultimate like fangirl of the guy she's crushing on. Like, the story is like, you know, when you have like those fantasies about like, you know, finally like getting your crush or like dating your like celebrity crush, this is kind of like that. So as well as like in the other two books, there's a lot of like conflict between like the world around them and like their parents. All three of these books are similar, but they're so different at the same time. Like, all three of them deal with like a lot of obstacles that like these teens have to face going through like their first love and stuff, but I really enjoyed all three of these books, and so I give this one probably like 3.5 out of 5, just because it wasn't like my favorite out of the 3, but I still loved it. And keeping up with the spirit of reading the 2 last books in the Anna and the French Kiss series, I decided to revisit Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. Oh, this is like one of my all-time favorite books. And so, I mean, I kind of like realized like I should have just like read this one first, then read the other 2, you know, reread this one, but no, but as I was reading the other ones, the characters from this one, like the main characters, Anna and Etienne St. Clair, they make cameos in the other books, and so I was like, I want to read their story again. So I read this. So if you haven't read any of these books, Anna and the French Kiss takes place in Paris, where this girl named Anna is sent to go to boarding school. And so it's this school, I think like the acronym's like called SOAP, because it's like, I don't even know what it stands for, but it's like an American school in France. And all of these kids, like their parents are super like well-known or rich, and so that's why they're allowed to go there. And there's only like 100 students in the entire like school, and 25 in each class. So Etienne, okay, like they, you know how like you say like this is my OTP, but you have like 50 OTPs. I have come to the conclusion that as of right now, they are my ultimate OTP. Anna and Etienne, yes, okay. But yeah, this book, like I am at a loss for words. Like, obviously I give this book 5 out of 5 stars, and what I love about this book is that their romance is like, kind of like taking like the back seat in this one. Like it's there, but like they become really good friends. They become best friends first, and so I love that idea, like that they develop this like friendship before they actually progress to like a relationship, where that is like very different in the other 2 books. So yeah. Oh, Etienne St. Clair. Every time I think about him, I want to like reread the book. Like literally, the first time I read this book, I was like, right after I finished it, I was like, I want to reread it again. So I like tried to reread it, but like then I got like sidetracked, so I never did reread it all the way. So now I finally have. And that is all the books that I have read this last month. I would do a TBR, but I've learned from like the only TBR video that I've done that I do not do well with like scheduling what I want to read next. Because in the other video, I said I was going to finish the Harry Potter book that I was currently on. I was going to try to read The Fifth Wave, which I am like only a few pages in, even though like, you know, and then I was also going to read To All the Boys That I've Loved Before. But no, I'm not even halfway done with that Harry Potter book, the 4th one. It's a huge book, so I mean, yeah, I don't think I will be doing a TBR anytime soon, because I just like go with the flow. Whatever I feel like reading, like I put books down while I'm like midway through and stuff, but yeah. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed my December wrap-up video, and I will be linking all of these books in the description as always, and so I will see you guys next time. Bye!